What's up, guys? Our wrestling podcast back at you with another episode. This is Dave Vicious along with Jess, the Total Package, and Cuz, bringing you our perspective on the world of professional wrestling. No inside sources, no ties to the industry, just stories from the diehards, sharing opinions with you. Can someone feed me today's topic?
You know, it's kind of funny that we're talking about this episode because when you hear the old song, that means Craig is gone. We're talking about WWE,
back
you're
together,
fired.
Craig's fired.
2021.
Son of a bitch.
We're just
Craig.
kidding. Craig's never fired. We
He's just
love
off.
him. He's just off this week. He'll be back, guys.
Gotta play a little
We
prank,
need-
that's all. You know.
Don't leave us because Craig's gone because he's the best. We know this.
That'd be-
But it is. It's all about you're
Why
fired.
did they
Who's
release
fired,
Craig, man? Why did they
guys?
release Craig? He was so good on the podcast.
Why did they release Craig? But who really got released this week?
He's going to be good on those other podcasts.
Yeah,
You know
he's going to go to
He's
whatever
gonna
the
go
equivalent to AEW is.
podcast and do really well.
He's going to go to AWP,
We wish him the
man.
best of luck in his future endeavors. No, he's really coming back, guys. I
He's going to go
promise.
to
For audio fans,
EWP,
give us a
everyone's
listen
wrestling
on Apple,
podcast.
Spotify,
Craig is
SoundCloud,
all
iHeartRadio,
elite.
Stitcher, and Google Podcasts. Craig is all elite.
Has like the picture of the all elites.
Watch our videos on YouTube at Our Wrestling Podcast. On
Craig was
social
great.
media, give us a follow on Instagram or Twitter at O.W.P 2019 or on Facebook at Our Wrestling Podcast. To make it clear, Craig is not wishing the best of luck in future endeavors. He'll be back next week. But there are a lot of people
Okay.
that are being wished a lot of luck in their future endeavors, guys. What's going on?
I wanted to talk about the current 2021 WWE releases. And Cuz came up with the idea, maybe we just rank each one or talk about each release. I don't know if you can pull up the list real quick, Cuz, of everybody that was released over the last 48 hours. We're recording this on Friday, April the 15th day or 16th? 16th.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're recording on April the
16th.
16th, so it's been 48 hours since the first wave of 9 have been released. Most of the names on the internet are surprising, but when I stopped and thought about it for myself personally, I'm like, they're not surprising at all. And I don't know why people get so hung up on the fact that, well, they're so rich, and even during the pandemic, the WWE had the biggest year of profit they've ever had during the pandemic. Because they cut the house shows out, and the house shows were losers because attendance was down.
There's no travel, no house shows,
Yeah, so basically it's all just living off the money contracts and the merchandise and all this stuff and the money contracts from the networks. And so they're making tons of money. They're not losing money on house shows. It just goes to show you how much money they were losing for the last few years on house shows because attendance was down. People forget before the pandemic, they were having SmackDown Live in a 10,000 seat arena and only putting 4,000 to 5,000 people in there. It was a problem. And then the pandemic hit and people kind of forgot about that. So they're not losing money on house shows anymore. On regular house shows, they were only putting like 2,000-3,000 people in a 10,000 seat venue.
Yeah.
So now they're not losing that anymore. So the thing is like, I wanted to kind of get double the viewpoint of it because a lot of people are just seeing the names like Cuz right now is sharing the screen. And we got Samoa Joe on there. Samoa Joe, of course, is a super popular name. He was an indie darling. He made a big name for himself in TNA.
Stop it, Cuz. Stop it.
What happened? Oh my God! Is he
You stop
touching his
that.
nipple with the thing? That's fine. It's
Yeah.
erratic. I like it. So that he's like the biggest name that people are like, what the hell? But I want to tell if you could unshare it, because I'm going to put up a list here. Mickey James was another one. I don't know if you have a full list there, Cuz the Iconics
I do.
were two more.
I can read
them
off
off. If you want to read them off, go ahead.
Yeah, Samoa Joe, Billy Kay, Peyton Royce, Mickey James, Chelsea Green, Tucker from Heavy Machinery, Kalisto, Mojo Raleigh, Bo Dallas, and Wesley Blake.
Okay,
I'll just say first of all, I forgot Bo Dallas was still there. I'm sorry.
me too.
Yeah.
Now, so there's like 4 or 5 that are like big shocking ones. Would you consider Samoa Joe shocking? I'm just saying, don't overthink it. Just say, would you?
If you don't overthink it, the answer is yes. But if you really start thinking, the answer is no.
Yeah, no. The Iconics. Would you say shocking? Don't overthink it.
A little surprising for me. But those three,
When
Yeah,
you split them up, one shocking, one's not.
You're right. You're overthinking it. Mickey James, same thing. You see the name, you just know the name value. You know who Mickey James is. You say, "What the hell, you guys? You don't have anything for Samoa Joe? You don't have anything." Well, let me tell you something.
Get into
Before
it.
WrestleMania, they released some articles, and they might have pulled some of this information about 5 or 6 months ago, but it's still pretty relevant. Okay, So I want to pull up a couple lists here. This is just Instagram. And the reason why this is relevant is because this shows the amount of followers that some of these wrestlers have. And let me bring up the first one here. Can you guys see what I'm putting down here or no?
It's a little small, but I can maximize it.
All right, well, I'll maximize it here. That's fine. So let's do the first one we're going to do here is the highest earning male WWE superstars on Instagram. And there's the top 10 here. Now, we can dissect it in an episode for the future. But number one is who? Can everybody see that?
Yeah. You know,
Randy Orton. Randy Orton's number one. Randy Orton has 6 million followers on his Instagram account, and estimated earnings per sponsored post that he makes, per one post that's sponsored, he makes 16 grand. Number two is Seth Rollins. 3 is Roman Reigns. 4 is Finn Balor. 5 is Rey Mysterio. 6 is The Miz. Why do they keep giving The Miz the title? Because he's number 6. Because he has 3.4 million followers.
Why don't they give Dolph the title?
Yeah, then why don't they give Dolph?
Well, I have a solution for that. Daniel Bryan is number 8. Dolph Ziggler's number 7. Daniel Bryan's number 8. Sheamus is number 9. Why did Sheamus have to win the U.S. title? Sheamus is number 9. AJ Styles is number 10. So look at AJ Styles. Right? AJ Styles just won a tag title, by the way. So here's the deal. Yeah. You go back to Dolph Ziggler because that's a very good point. They never not featured Dolph Ziggler. We're mad as fans because we know how talented he is. Yeah. We know how talented he is.
But he gets his TV time.
Yeah, we think he should win the goddamn world title every 5 minutes, but he is being featured, just like Miz. The Miz will go through periods of not winning anything, and
the fact that they don't win titles is even more of a reason why they get
titles.
notoriety.
Titles don't mean anything anymore. Unfortunately, we're purists.
Whoa, hey, watch your mouth.
No, we're purists. We're purists, right? We like titles, so we would love that if we got to run our own wrestling promotion. Titles would mean everything. I could say that for all three of us with all confidence, right? But look at that list, okay? By the way, why did Drew McIntyre lose at Mania? Do you see him on the top 10?
No.
Okay, you don't.
Pretty sad.
I love Drew. I'm not shitting on Drew. I went and I saw Drew. Drew doesn't even have 1 million followers on his Instagram account. Bobby Lashley has less than 800,000 followers on his Instagram account. So they're not moving the needle like people think. Do I love that Bobby? And will they make an exception for Lashley because he's a heel? Yes. Because you can groom a heel differently, right? And you can actually make his heel run successful and then turn him face, and then Bobby Lashley goes through the roof for you. I love Drew. I'm not saying the Drew experiment is dead. I'm not saying the Drew experiment is dead. I'm just saying when you look at this, we're just talking about men wrestlers right now, and you wonder why. And by the way, do you see Samoa Joe? And I'll tell you, Samoa Joe's not number 11, by the way.
I have to say is that I just never thought on this podcast ever we'd be looking at Instagram earnings by wrestlers.
No, and the reason why I decided to do it was because, and this is just Instagram. We're going to get into Cameo. Social media influence means so much to the WWF. It carries clout in the WWF. Whether you agree with it or not.
That's the way.
Whether you agree with it or not.
I'm not prepared.
Why do they keep pushing The Miz? Why do they keep pushing The Miz? Because in 2021, The Miz is number 6. That's why.
This is their ratings. This is their ratings now.
Right. Yes. Well, and Finn went to NXT. Why did Finn go to NXT? Well, because NXT was going to become a network show, so they wanted to put Finn, and Finn's still number 4. Even if these numbers were pulled before WrestleMania, which they probably were, like, it doesn't matter. Look at this list here. It's amazing. And so I wanted to bring that point up, and we're going to get towards another list here in a second. But I wanted to bring that up because I think it's super important to this is Vince's ratings, like Cuz said. And Vince, by the way, 10 years ago was all over. Are we trending, pal? Are we trending? He was, and this is before like big influencers made big money 10 years ago. Vince knew. We've always called Vince a visionary, right? We've always called Vince a visionary, right? So like Vince knew that eventually hits on social media will translate to dollars, and they are now. And Vince is on top of it. So you can say what you want, and you can get mad that Samoa Joe or people like that are not, are released or whatever, but they're not moving the needle like you think they are. You might like them personally. I love Samoa Joe. Dave loves Samoa Joe. Craig, who's not here, loves Samoa Joe. Cuz loves Samoa Joe. We all can say that, but like he's not moving the needle. I don't know why. He's just not. I don't know why someone like AJ that came from TNA, the same kind of ilk, and Ring of Honor, the same kind of ilk that Samoa Joe came from, why he moved the needle. I don't know why. I'm just saying that he's not. That's why I'm not surprised that Samoa Joe was released.
I get that.
He was, and Dave, you said this real quick.
Argument that you made about Samoa Joe too, Jess, to try to move this forward. What I will say about a lot of these people is that you can see releases for these type of contracts to be signed to different contracts down the line.
Right.
Did you want to delve into that now?
That's a good point. A lot of people are freaking out right now. You guys might be freaking out about Samoa Joe for no reason. He has not been cleared to return by the WWE doctor. So they could just be simply terminating his in-ring contract. And he's been doing so good on commentary, they could sign him to a commentary contract. That's very feasible. In 1 month, we might see Samoa Joe again debut on NXT or SmackDown or whatever, or come back to Raw. And exactly. So I think people are just freaking out about Samoa Joe for no reason. But bottom line is, as far as social media influence, and I just pulled Instagram. I didn't do Twitter or Facebook or anything like that, which you got to figure they all kind of fall in line, probably the same. Samoa Joe, I'm sorry, he doesn't move the needle, and I love the man. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to be a negative.
You could argue when he gets into the announcer space, he'll draw more, and his Instagram will boost because he's constantly on the mic.
When I say I'm surprised, it's more because of the fact how not surprised because he's not moving the needle. More because it seemed like they were gonna do something with them as far as commentary or even the Iconics. Each of them, it seems like they were doing something with them. So that's why I was like, I was more surprised because it looks like they're gonna start to do something with them, and then all of a sudden I was like, oh man, So that's more where my surprise.
Let me bring up the women's one. Let me bring up the women's one right now. Can you guys see the women's one?
This is insane. I was gonna say it's probably even bigger. Yeah.
So this is the highest earning female WWF superstars on Instagram. Number 1 is Alexa Bliss. Now, this will kind of go against my argument here because I'm going to get to a name that did get released. Alexa Bliss is number 1. She has 5.1 million subscribers or followers on her Instagram.
Sure.
She makes if per estimated post, she makes $13,000 per sponsored post. Yeah, sponsored. Sasha Banks is number 2. They're both tied, basically. Sasha, Alexa, and Becky Lynch, who hasn't been on TV for a year, by the way, is in the top 3. So why do they keep forcing Becky down our throat? Oh, I don't know why. Because she pulls the clout. Charlotte, why do they keep shoving Charlotte? She's number 4. That's why. 4.4 million followers on her Instagram. Bailey is number 5. Carmella is number 6.
Of course, and that's why she's there. That's why she's doing things.
Mandy
Rose, same thing.
Mandy Rose, Asuka, Peyton Royce, who I'm surprised. Peyton Royce is number 9.
That's the one that
I will say out of all the releases, the 2 or the 1, to Dave's point, because I think 1 was more valuable than the 2.
Yeah.
The 1 is Peyton Royce. I don't know why they let her go. I know she's always kind of garnered an interest on social media. I know she pulls in some money for the company. It's weird. And number 10 is Nia Jax. So again, and yes, Nia is on the E! Show, the Diva Show. So was Peyton Royce for a while. So was Mandy Rose. So was Carmella.
A lot of these women.
But that's why they do the E! Show. That's why they do all this
Mandy
stuff.
Was on the E! Show.
She was for a bit. Her
she
and
Sonia.
Her and Sonia were on there for a bit. I thought.
I know Sonia.
Yeah, they were.
I didn't see Mandy.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't see Sonia up here. Uh-oh.
I'm surprised that that release. I know that sounds really bad, but Sonya being released would make more sense than Peyton Royce based on the money.
Correct.
Yeah.
I think right now because the whole kidnapping thing happened with Sonya, I think they're trying to protect her and give her time to recover and all that stuff.
So you're saying,
there you go, you're on your own now.
Well, I'm not saying she doesn't have talent. I do like Sonya actually.
No, she's good.
I think she has a lot of potential. But
talent or not, we have talent that's been released. I'm just saying. Yeah.
So, I mean, do you guys find this information at least interesting? Do you think that the average? I think
it makes more sense.
Well, I'm not just trying to prove the point to you guys because I know you know we all talk and we all agree.
We know,
but the people who listen, I want people to understand that too. And now there's one more that I want to bring up here, and this was posted before Mania. This is the Cameo. The reason why Vince canceled the fans only for a lot of wrestlers, or all the wrestlers, I should say, is because NBC
you mean OnlyFans, right?
Yeah, OnlyFans. Sorry. NBC owns the same service. It's just called Cameo. And so what you see right here is a graphic. This was released right before WrestleMania 37. Now, all these people are appropriately placed. And if you think about the people that lost at Mania, then you also agree with this too. Look at Alexa Bliss, $400, right? That's one of the top tier ones. Randy Orton, $500. Shane McMahon, $500. You can say what you want, and I can say what I want. Shane McMahon will get the buys though. People will buy Randy Orton at $500, Alexa at $400, Shane at $500, so they know that. But when they lower the price on someone, it's because they know that they're not going to get bought at face value, and they want to make purchases, right? Look at Drew, $250. That's telling. That's super telling.
Bobby Lashley is concerning, as you had said on text before.
Yeah, Bobby Lashley and Drew McIntyre are
you're
concerning.
saying if you want to buy into their OnlyFans page, this is what you have to pay. I don't have.
I don't know if it's not per minute. I think you just get like a
not per minute. But when you want to buy into their page,
you buy them. So, but look at they put Randy Orton at 500 and Alexa at 400 because they know they will get that, right? Shane McMahon, same thing. They know they're going to get 500. Daniel Bryan, 400. They know they're going to get that.
Yeah.
I have no interest of knowing what's going on with Shane McMahon for $500.
People do, though, Dave. I'm telling you, people do. Now, Rhea Ripley, the current Raw Women's Champion, $150. So they're just hoping that people will see that she's cheap and give her a shot and like her. Asuka's 200, not too much higher, but I'm not saying Asuka's moving the needle either, even though she was on the previous list I just talked about. Seth Rollins, Seth Rollins, 400. That's why they keep stalking him. People like Seth. Morrison, 200. He's just been relegated tag team. Miz, 250. I think Miz is worth more, but there's a lot of. Look at AJ Styles, 400. Apollo Crews, 200. They just put the IC title on him. Big E, 250.
Vince cut all this off or no?
No, I'm just saying, like, if you look, I don't think Vince set this price. I think WWE set this price. But then you have surprises.
This is for their version of OnlyFans. Is what you're saying.
Yes. Sorry, I didn't make that clear. I apologize. So Cameo is owned by NBC, which owns Peacock, which owns USA.
So he knew. So to your point, he cut off all their OnlyFans and all their Twitch stuff, essentially because he knew this was coming. Months ago.
Correct. Yes.
That really puts things in perspective. I sound really stupid
everyone,
right now.
No, you don't.
You just take
you don't,
money away.
You don't sound dumb, Dave, because there's a lot of social media out there and there's a lot of different things. There's a lot of yes, you can do this and no, you can't do that. And it's hard to, it makes your head spin after a while. But look at Braun Strowman at 250. Look at Sammy at 200. Kevin Owens at 250. We can bitch all we want about our internet darlings or the people that
How does Amos get 150? He's been there for like 5 minutes.
I mean, at least he has the interest, probably with AJ. But
that's true. Okay.
But the reason why I bring that up too is that's super telling.
AJ's like, give me a third, bro. Give me a third.
I texted you guys about Bobby Lashley and Drew McIntyre before Mania happened. That's when I texted you, and I said that price is concerning. Because when you look at that, that's what the company thinks they're worth value-wise, right? They know they can get 500 for Orton, 400 for Alexa, 500 for Shane, 400 for Daniel Bryan. They know they can get that. So that's why they're confident in hiking up the price. Now, you can give the new people like Bianca Blair.
Can I interrupt you for just a second, Jess, on this?
Yeah.
How long has this been out?
I don't know. I saw this right before Mania I saw this came out about a week before Mania. The Cameo did. I don't know about the service.
Okay, so what I'll tell you is that they could be really. I mean, they might have been looking at a lot of pie charts, a lot of graphs.
Sure.
But I'm just telling you that they could be very, very off on these numbers. And I'm telling you, there's going to be stuff on there. Dare I say, was Mandy Rose even on that list as an example?
No, I don't think they offered her. By the way, in that graphic I just showed the last one.
That doesn't make sense to me.
No. Let me. Sorry, there's so much information I pulled up. I apologize.
No worries.
That graphic was just they hand selected those superstars. They did not make every WWE superstar available. So just those people were available before Mania.
Mistake number one. They selected some of the wrong people. I'm just asking a question. Amos is on there, but Mandy Rose is not on there. And I'm not trying to be mean, but Mandy Rose is a great wrestler, but she's also very beautiful, and that's why her Instagram account is so high, and she's making a lot of money for the company. So the fact that
and I'm not saying, by the way, if you go to the Cameo site, I'm sure she has an account on there. I'm not disputing that, but for Mania, this is just what they advertised before. Mania.
And that's just that in itself is a mistake. I'm sure to your point, she's probably on there. Mistake number one.
Yeah, okay. I'm sure all the superstars have it. So, but my point was,
see. Yeah. To your point, we'll see if these numbers become accurate over time. You might find a following in Bobby Lashley as an example that people will just flock to.
I'm not disputing that. I'm just saying if you go with what we see right now, the new people like Blair, she was only worth 200, but she's just brand new. Damian Priest was 150, just brand new. I'm not saying critique those people, but like when you look at the people they've been putting a lot of stock in, especially Drew and Bobby, that is when people say, why do they keep putting Edge in the main event? Why do you keep dragging Edge up? Why do you keep doing that? You want to know why? Because the other top tier stars aren't doing it.
$500 is because I feel like Shane McMahon put the list together.
Maybe he did.
Just being that guy.
There's a McMahon.
Maybe he did.
If Vince put on there, Vince is like $1,000.
But you know what though? As much as I'll critique Shane's matches, I understand why they did. I believe
I get that, but what I'm
saying
is like you're not. This is not about matches. It's not about WrestleMania. It's about someone who wants to delve into their personal life for a fee.
You're totally right. But what I was trying to do, my main point by the graphics I put up was the way WWE cuts and pushes their talent. Now, if we were going by talent alone, I don't think Shane McMahon. I wouldn't pay $1 for Shane McMahon, and I don't mean that to be rude. He's not talented, but he's not as talented as Drew.
I'm not interested in that.
Right, exactly. I'm just talking about the perception that the company has when they value employees. They do, the company, WWE.
That's fair.
This is how they do it. So
and you can argue that it's wrong.
Correct, absolutely correct. So people that are shocked that Joe got released is my point here, and then I'll get off my high horse. Joe got released, or the Iconics got released, or whatever. The Iconics might be the only exception. I'm puzzled by that, to be honest with you. I'm only
from a hole in the ground. He ain't got a clue.
I'm thinking that I think Peyton, she might have had her contract coming up to the ending, and she might have asked for her release, or hey, I'm not going to resign because her husband works for AEW. Perfect 10. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So she might go there. She might go there with her husband. She may want to be there. So that's why, because I saw Peyton was money in the women's division. I don't know about you guys, but I saw Peyton was money.
I like both of them. I
thought both of them were good.
She was done a lot of the women's bodybuilding too. I don't know if you guys noticed.
Yeah, she did in competition. Yeah,
so I think.
So
that other interests. So
that's why I wanted to bring that stuff to the table. I don't know if that influenced our conversation. I want you guys to take over a little bit now and talk about.
No, you're good.
I
think there's a lot.
I wanted to bring in perspective to people who might be listening outside that instead of just being shocked on the surface, think about it for a minute. WWE is a publicly traded company. If even if you were raking in profit after profit, would you still keep bottom feeders? And the answer is no. These releases, how could they do that during a pandemic? How can they do that when they're reporting the highest profits they've ever had? Because they don't, by the way, they'd still have to cut weight. Even if they're mega successful, which they are, and they're making the most money they ever have, if you're not creatively doing anything with anybody, whether you think that they're smart for not knowing what to do with Samoa Joe or not is irrelevant. What I'm saying is, if they deem somebody not creatable and somebody that they can't do anything with, would you not cut them as well? Of course you would.
I'll even ask you another question.
You're just throwing money out.
How much more?
Right.
How much more weight can AEW carry before they cut the fat?
Well, they need to get exactly. Cuz was saying that before we hit record. They need to cut the fat. They can't keep getting bloated.
That's why I don't think Samoa Joe would go there. I think he would go to Impact. I think he would look at it. It's too crowded at AEW.
But here's the thing: like Samoa Joe will either go to Impact or they'll put him on a broadcasting contract,
or he'll go to NXT,
which is totally fine.
He's going on an NXT contract.
He's going to be fine. You don't think Peyton Royce is going to find a job somewhere? She'll be okay.
She'll go to Impact or AEW.
But that's one of the major moves I disagree with. People like Mickie James, who's behind me, I think also she could be someone that really kind of heavily monitors the back and brings up young talent. I'm not saying that's going to happen. You can create a rumor.
Same like the Samoa Joe thing that he might be canceled from a.
You have to eliminate that contract before you start.
And Mickie James, I mean, she's a Hall of Famer, right?
And let's be real. Do you think Mickie James is not going to have something in AEW or on? On
Impact,
the NWA.
NWA.
Oh, NWA. That'd be great.
I mean, you can have a great storyline with her going.
That's where her husband is,
and duking out with her husband because he's with another woman on NWA. Yeah. That writes itself. And Mickie would do amazing with that. And if those two got together, what's the other wrestler? I can't remember her name. I'm so sorry.
Camille.
NWA.
Yes.
If those two put down a show, we would all be tuning to YouTube for that. So,
and she would only help the women's division in NWA.
Most of these releases are going to be fine. They're going to be just fine. And it's going to be better for the overall wrestling product.
Mojo's
going to be. And you know what? I want the ignorant wrestling fan to be like, you idiots, you didn't know what to do with Mickie James. Feel that way. You want to know why I want you? Because I want you to tune into NWA. I want you to watch AEW. I want you to watch Impact. I want other people,
those people
to watch those shows.
Because Mickie James will come over there.
They're going to get better. And dude, but get mad at WWE. Watch other promotions. That's the only way everyone's going to get better. It's the way when WCW started coming up, when we were growing up, it was like, dude,
they pluck talent.
If I got mad at WWE, I'd switch over to a WCW. And even if I got mad at them, I at least had commercial breaks. I could flop back and forth and enjoy different matches. There was selection. Sure. I didn't have to be a slave to the WWF. I was able to branch out and watch ECW and WCW and enjoy them for what they were.
Yeah.
This is I pulled up some comments too because I get so annoyed when I read the comments on these. WWE don't know how to use their talents. If I were in her shoes, I'd leave. Also referring to Peyton Royce.
Yeah, because she left.
They don't know how. Well, it's like, okay, you watch NXT, right? That's under the WWE umbrella. Obviously, they're doing it right down there. It's just a different beast on the main roster.
Right.
And to be fair, I mean, I know like we brought up the numbers and everything. You could maybe argue some of them would have better numbers if they were used properly. But at the same time, if they're not moving the needle, then Vince is probably not going to see any
who's
value.
The one taking care of their brand within the league?
Yeah. No, that's a good point, cuz. You can't. Yeah, that's a very good point that you brought up. My point with that, with bringing all that stuff, is it's just the way they think.
It's relevant.
Whether we agree with the way they think is irrelevant. We could disagree, and I think we do disagree with the way they book and think. But I mean, like I'm just telling people, I'm just trying to bring people in on their thought process.
Yeah.
That's what Vince sees.
But,
so whether you agree with it or not is irrelevant. So what do you see? That's why they did. If those numbers, though, they're real numbers. They're hard numbers, right? Like, so it's just, you can kind of understand why they do what they do.
And here's the thing, like the other thing too, it's like a lot of people are acting like this is a shocker because they do this every year at WrestleMania. Some famous rapper guy. Why is the WWE announcing these like the Hunger Games? They always do it like this.
They do it like this every year.
They do this every year.
It hasn't been different for a while.
Yeah. They do it all the time. And I will also say too, like what sucks too, kind of related to the maybe if they had more time or had something better, then they can move the needle more. It's probably kind of difficult when Vince probably has like 5,000 writers and he has he has so many writers coming with different ideas. People are like, oh, how come there's never good storylines? Blah blah blah. I'm sure the writers he has, this is what he has to choose from. Oh, what'd you make today? Oh, shit sandwich. All right, and you made a shit burger. You made a shit pizza. You made a shit salad. All he has to choose from is shit. So he's gonna, eventually it's all gonna just be shit regardless.
Because you make an even bigger point there.
It's true. How many
people at this point are like the Jerichos of the world that had no problem. They never worried about getting fired by Vince. They can go in that room and tell him that this is shit and this is what I want to do.
But they won't.
And Vince would be like, okay, make it work. There's no Stone Colds of the world. There's
a lot of them won't know.
There's nobody that will go in Vince's office and tell him what's up.
Well, even more so, like Stone Cold says, because all I see are people comfortable being on TV, and that's it. That's true.
Right.
That's probably true.
It's true. They have comfortable contracts. They have comfortable, you know what I mean? Like,
I think that's what someone like Stone Cold means, because we've brought up the point a few times where like we're saying like, oh, wrestlers from back then are saying, oh, all these kids are doing is just playing video games in the back. And we're like, oh, well, it's better than getting drunk or doing pills. I think what they mean is like, no, it means you don't go in the back and play video games. You keep working on your character. You put in the extra hours in the gym. You're putting your extra hours on your craft.
That's a good point.
Instead of just getting lazy and complacent. Oh, I have a contract. I get 15 minutes of TV every week. I'm good. I'm just going to go and just chill now.
That's true. And a lot of them probably
didn't have that opportunity back then. They had to work hard, right? I think
that's what'll breed that. What'll breed that outside the WWE is I know we all differ on our opinions on AEW, but AEW, Impact, and NWA success is so important for those companies to be successful.
Oh no, yeah, I want it to
because it's good. Yeah, you're going to. They'll never touch the WWE. Let's be honest. WWE,
especially when they're trying to be like the WWE.
Once they bought out ECW and WCW, not that ECW was such a big player. It was over. It was over forever. But you will never. But
look at like the MLB is what I'm saying. All these other guys, they're all the AAA, single A, double A plays. It's like Yellowstone Storm.
But I want the Tony. We make fun of Tony. We can a totally different debate whether Tony Khan is fucking up AEW and bumbling it. But you know what though? He's willing to put the money up and give guys and girls a job, and that's super important. The big company that backs Impact right now, which a lot of people don't know, that the Impact is actually backed by a big financer, a big backer, but they're just taking it slow. They don't want to throw money down the garbage can like fucking Dixie was. They want to fucking take their time and relax a little bit. So like, let these other companies have big backers. I love it when big rich companies or someone like Tony Khan gets behind AEW.
I do too.
Whether you disagree with their booking or not is a different subject. We need homes for these guys and girls. That's how wrestling grows, man. I want Ring of Honor. Let's get Ring of Honor back up and going again. I mean, that will be spectacular. Let's do it. And I know we can, that will start breeding more wrestling fans, or at least, at the very least, if it doesn't make new fans, it'll keep the hardcores happy. And they won't stop watching altogether, which is death. But when it's only WWE, the hardcores are going to get turned off and they're never going to watch again. That is death for wrestling. I don't want that.
People have to move around. The moving around is good. It stirs up the system a little bit.
They learn. They learn.
They get better in their places. I even dare say I've been seeing Big Kaz on the Independents. He's finally figured his shit out. He's shredded.
Yeah. He looks healthy. He looks good.
He looks good. The release for him was the best thing for him in the long run. So as an example, when he got released, people were pissed off, but he was in a bad way. He wasn't.
He wasn't
doing
in the right
anything.
mindset.
Yeah, and when you do that,
He could come back.
He could come back.
Vince probably would love him back.
Morrison came back after years,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
And he's
Yeah.
doing great.
All these
it.
guys.
So,
Shelton Benjamin.
Shelton Benjamin, Mickey James, they all made that circle back. So
all of them. Yep.
All I'm saying is the movement is good because you get new blood, new federations. They teach you new things. Their craft gets better, and it creates some realm of competition that we really want to see. So
yeah, as long as the competition could actually not be like WWE, not trying to be like WWE.
Yeah, it has
with all
to be
this
different.
crap, horrible decisions, and these stupid storylines and booking. And
well, let's be real. There's not a federation out there that doesn't make a stupid decision, but they all tend to.
But that's why
like I said,
they'll never touch them because they always try to be like WWE.
Topic for another day.
No.
Cuz is right. But a topic for another day. I want homes for these guys, and I think the more
At the end of the day, yes.
Yeah, the more homes that are successful, and the more successul they are. The fact that AEW,
I can't think of anybody on that list that won't have a home.
And the fact that
I'm just kidding.
You're a terrible person.
Okay.
You're a terrible.
No,
person.
Mojo Rally.
And then the
actually,
fact that as we're recording
Tony
this past Wednesday was the first time that Dynamite was unopposed because everybody knows NXT moved nights. Dynamite did 1.2 million viewers. So I am just hoping that it keeps growing. I have my critique about the product. That's not my point in that statement. My point is now we have another home. We have another home, and they're crossing 1 million. Even during the streaming days and the DVRing days and the digital recording days, we have a brand that can pass 1 million. I want NWA to be successful on.
Everybody
did they go and fight?
Released today, they're gonna be just fine. I guarantee you. Once
I hope
once
so,
it
man.
all released, all their phones were ringing.
Cuz any closing comments? I don't want to. I don't want to dominate this episode, but I wanted to bring those facts because I thought that would kind of stimulate our conversation.
You didn't.
But I don't want to run. I don't want to run super long on this. Anything you want to add, Cuz, about the releases?
No, I mean, because been a WWE fan for forever, and yeah, it's always gonna be my favorite, even though I disagree a lot with a lot of shit they do, and I don't watch Raw and SmackDown anymore because it's bad. But I always want to see these guys there because to me that's if you're a wrestler, that's like the end goal. Like look at AJ, but yeah, he did it right, and he pulls in the crowd, he moves the needle. So I always like seeing guys like Samoa Joe,
and he's
all
probably political in the back in the right way.
Yeah,
I'm not saying he's a jerk. I'm just saying
pretty confident AJ has real conversations.
He's like a poster child for WWE. Like Vince probably loves him, like because he's
won
for the
like
company,
every title now too.
Yeah, exactly. So that shows you what Vince thinks of him.
Yeah,
so,
and he even said, "I'm not going to NXT." Sorry about that.
Which would be great.
Than that. Which is not a bad thing, but he is better than NXT.
And
that's
saying
a lot. That's saying a lot, by the way.
I hate to see them go though. A lot of these guys, just because it's like WrestleMania too. That's the thing. It's like that's what every wrestler wants to be, and obviously all these wrestlers were on WrestleMania already. But I don't know. It's just something. It's like WWE feels like home. Like when I think of these wrestlers, so it's like it sucks to see them go in that sense. But I hope they do get a job, like you said, somewhere else.
They all will.
Or I hope some of them.
It's funny that you say that because even when I was younger and growing up and watching wrestling, and WCW was a thing, I always felt weird when wrestlers would go over. I'm like, I wonder if they felt lost. Even going over during like the Monday Night Wars, right? Like people like Mr. Perfect and stuff like that. There's nothing like WrestleMania.
Well,
there's nothing like SummerSlam, right?
Yeah,
there's nothing like the feeling of WWF. And even though in 1998, when a lot of these wrestlers jumped, WCW was on fire in '98, but there wasn't the I don't know how to word it. There wasn't the legendary feeling of Mania. It always felt like Vince was king.
Well, it's different in '98 because, like, as soon as these releases hit, everybody caught it, and then I guarantee you, everybody that was on this list got a phone call from somebody that had interest in them. Mm-hmm. But when you were getting released or your contract was coming up, it was just phone calls, and maybe they caught you, or maybe they caught your machine. So there's always like, what's going to happen to me? So I guarantee you, in '98 it was completely different, and they definitely did feel alone.
Well, no, it was different, but to Cuz's point, what I was saying was like, it's like WWF always felt like home. And even, since '84, technically, he's made this kingdom where WrestleMania was special, where SummerSlam was special, where just this locker room is special. Our legacy is special. And even when WCW was erupting, even in the early 90s.
For another day, but Hall and Nash changed that dynamic forever. I think you'd say.
Well, a little bit, but
you're right. I think you're right.
I still think even after they made it big, after the NWO thing wore off, like even before WWF took over, It's still when they got together and they would watch WrestleMania, even during the high periods of WCW, because it's WrestleMania. So it's kind of crazy the way, and most of them used to partake in Mania after they went to WCW. So they would watch WrestleMania and be like, "Yeah, we all sat together and watched Mania."
They'd be there for the fanfanfare and for the signatures and the autographs.
Yeah, oh no, not even that. They would be watching because they'd be working for WCW, but they're like, "Oh, you want to hang out, watch Mania? Yeah, let's watch Mania." Like they're even when they were beating WWF's ass, they still all watched WrestleMania. Like they all got together. Hogan did, Nash did. Like they all watched WrestleMania. It's weird. It's just kind of it's the same.
With a bunch of turkey sandwiches
and Miller Lights. It's the same, but it's different. But anyway, I don't want to drag this out. But I wanted to talk about the releases because it's deep and it means something, and these lists mean something, and I don't know. Like I just felt we should talk about it, and I enjoyed it.
All I'll say is there are other people that deserve releases. I get that. I understand.
Sure, of course. But some of the people that you think should get releases probably appeared on that list, and now you know why. They're there.
Yeah, there's others. I don't want to.
Right. Oh no, you're right. You're correct. You're right. Yeah,
it's all good. Right. For audio fans, give us a listen on Apple, Spotify, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, and Google Podcast, or watch our videos on YouTube at Our Wrestling Podcast. On social media, give us a follow on Instagram or Twitter at O.W.P 2019, Facebook at Our Wrestling Podcast. This is Dave, Jess, and Cuz with the O.W.P Originals. Have a good one.
See you later, Craig. See you later, Craig. We wish you well on your future endeavors.
Craig, please come back, Craig. We miss you, Craig.